Good morning. Hi Sims, hi Sting, how are you? Hope you guys are doing well. Hi Charlene, thanks for joining. And Java, thank you for joining. ABK, hi, how are you guys this morning? Guys, this live is actually way past overdue. I've had some requests from students and other people that wanted to have some information about how to deal with anxiety and stress. So that is what this video is going to be about. It's not just aimed for students. You can use it in your daily life. If you are struggling with anxiety or stress, or you need some tips or strategies to manage it, then this live will be perfect for you guys. Neliswe, thanks for joining. Hi Akka and Java, Brett, thank you. Please share the live, guys, if you know anyone that might be interested in the topic. Hi Adrienne, how are you? Rehab, thank you for joining. Can you guys please share so that we can have some more viewers? Anyone that might benefit from the live, someone that you might know that is dealing with anxiety and stress, that might need some help or some tips, then you can please share it to them. Hi Ubong, thank you for liking the live, I appreciate it. How's the weather by you guys? We've had some rain. The sun is coming out a little, but it's still a little windy. I think we're going to have some more rain later on. Hi Muffy. Hi Ubong, glad to meet you too. How are you guys? What are you doing? Please grab a cup of coffee and join us. We're going to have a quick chat, and if you have any questions, please let me know. If there's something specific that you want me to touch on, then I'll be glad to do that. Gwekazi, thank you for joining. Oh, that sounds good, Ubong. Is it a general church program, or was it something specific that you did today? Thank you for joining. Please tap the screen, guys. It helps to get it out to more people who are online at the moment. So I will really appreciate it. And while you guys are here, I also just wanted to notify you we will be having a live on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. It's going to be a special guest, a South African artist, an actor, a poet that will be joining us. It is Solly Philando. If you guys are aware of him, if you know him, you know that he is well known in the South African industry for artists, and we're going to do a special poem reading and analysis. So if those of you if you are able to make it, please join it on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Can we have some people to share the live, please, and then also like it? It will be very much appreciated. Okay, hi Masha, how are you? I'm Fondu. Thank you for joining. unending praise. Well, that sounds very uplifting and a good way to start the week. I really think that it's a good way to start the week, good energy going around, so it prepares you for the week ahead. Hi Marsha, thanks for joining. Please like the live and share it with your friends. As stated earlier, this is going to be a live on dealing with anxiety and stress. So if you or you know someone that is struggling with stress and anxiety, please share it with them. It might benefit them. The wind is standing up here. I think it's going to rain a little bit later on. Fernandez, welcome. Okay, how many of you guys actually have had instances where you have struggled with stress or have experienced stress to such an extent that it has made you feel overwhelmed and not being able to control the things around you, or not knowing how to deal with it and how to cope with it? Are you one of them, Fernandez? Well, today I will be sharing with you some tips and strategies on how to deal with stress, but I think it is important that you know what stress is in the beginning, or for the start of this live. Some of you don't actually know what stress is or where it manifests, and stress is a natural component of life, and it's necessary for us to stress physiologically. So that is in your body. Stress is a way for your body to adjust to a situation. So what happens is you get a stimulant from an outside, from your environment. A very simple example is just looking outside into the sun. Your eyes adjust and your pupils become smaller so that less light comes in, because your body is protecting itself. So it's just for your eyes to adjust so that you don't damage your eyes when you get that stimulus. The stimulus is the sun shining and your body is responding to that. So with regard to mental stresses and emotional stress that we experience, it works quite the same. You will experience a situation and then your body will try to adjust to that situation. It's necessary so that we are able to survive in the first place. Like for instance, if you're in a dangerous situation and your body prepares itself for the flight or fight response. For example, when you're out in the wild and you encounter a lion, you will think to yourself, lions are dangerous, so you need to do something to get out of the situation. You need to protect yourself. So stress is one of the natural ways for your body to respond to the outside environment so that you protect yourself. That is what stress is. It's necessary and it motivates us. So without that stress, you will be stagnated. You will freeze, or you will just not do anything in a situation, and you'll end up in a dangerous situation that might be risky, or it might cost you your life. So that is why stress is important in your life. The same with motivation. If you are, for example, preparing for exams, you will experience an amount of stress. The amount of stress that you experience is because you are motivating yourself to get to a certain goal. You know, for example, you have a deadline. Tomorrow is your exam, so you need to study for the full day so that you will be able to write your exam and pass successfully. So that's another reason why we experience stress. It's to motivate us to reach our goals. And some people thrive under chaos and stress and high pressure environments, whilst others don't. And there's a specific reason for that. It's not because you don't know how to deal with the situation, or sometimes it can be, but the very basic reason for that is the way that your nervous system is wired. The body's nervous system is where all of these messages are sent through. So some people have a highly sensitive nervous system which responds to these situations very quickly. So you'll probably experience a higher amount of stress than others, and other people would not experience the stress as intensely as the ones that has a very highly sensitive nervous system. So it all depends on your body. Your body sends through the messages to your cells, and then you will have a physical manifestation of stress. So it really is a holistic experience. It comes from your environment, and then it depends on your perspective or your beliefs, your thoughts on whatever is happening, and then the emotions that manifest out of your body and the physical manifestations inside your body. So there's physical symptoms of stress that occurs, and this is all just depending on how you are wired, what your life experiences are. Not everyone experiences stress the same, and to treat one person's stress the same as the next, it won't work, because we are not the same. We all come from different backgrounds, we all have different belief systems, and we all have different life experiences. So how you deal with stress is definitely unique to who you are and how you will be able to deal with it. So stress is a complicated thing to deal with. So just to touch on that topic of the physical symptoms, some people experience stress as maybe pain in their stomachs, or having difficulty to breathe. Some would feel as if they are disconnected from reality, and sometimes that is also just a response of your psyche to whatever stress you are experiencing, because you're trying to protect yourself. Some people have avoidant personalities, which means that they avoid the stress, they avoid the situation or the cause of the stress. And some people would feel very overwhelmed with the situation. They would overthink it. They would panic and experience high levels of anxiety when they think about the situation that they're in. So it depends from person to person, and it's very important that you take a holistic approach towards dealing with stress and anxiety. There are very little people that realize that everything in our life actually influences the next component of our lives. For example, if your psyche, your mental state is not optimum at the moment, it will have an effect on your health, on your physical health. And that is why stress causes people to have ulcers and heart problems and high blood pressure issues, and maybe experience a stroke. That is why some people don't realize that it has an impact on your physical health as well, or on your performance at work, or the way that you deal with your relationships with your family and friends. So it's important to understand that that it has an effect on all of the aspects of your life, and to actually find a balance so that you can better deal with all of these aspects, and that you make sure that you try to find optimum health and well-being in all of your aspects of being a human. That means that you have to look after your mental well-being, your physical well-being, and your spiritual well-being, because we are not just human bodies. Some people might be atheists, don't believe in anything, but still they have some type of code or principles that they live their life towards. So you find something that has meaning, and that is where the spiritual aspect comes through. So that is how stress manifests and how it occurs. So it's necessary to have stress, but dealing with it, that is where the tricky part comes in. So for those of you who are students, just to make an example here, there are lots of students that come to me and say that they don't know how to cope with their stress and the anxiety. Now, stress occurs and anxiety occurs usually when you make a change in your life and you struggle to adapt to the new situation. So, for example, if you start a new job or if you have lost your job, this brings about a whole new aspect of how you handle stress and new stresses that come into your life. So changes in your life, it can be small changes, it can be big changes. You might not even realize that something that you've changed will cause you stress, but it can. So if you are experiencing stress, the first thing that you might want to do is to think a little about what have you changed in this period of time. Has something happened in your life, like getting a new job or being unemployed? Have you lost a loved one? Are you thinking about changing your physical appearance? Have you started a diet? All of these things can cause stress and anxiety, which you might think is insignificant, but it does have an effect, and it's just a way for your body to adjust to whatever is new in your environment. So it prepares you to go through this, but it's difficult for some people to deal with stress when they are in this period of adjustment. Some people struggle to transition. So for example, when you're a student, when you have just graduated high school and now you need to start university, there's a lot of students that struggle with that transition, especially if you decide to go to a university which is online, and now all of a sudden you don't have teachers face to face that can help you or guide you through the content. This will cause you stress and anxiety because it's a big change, you're not used to it, and now all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you feel that you are overwhelmed and you can't cope. So the main thing is that you want to find a balance when you are stressed or when you are experiencing anxiety. Some people have anxiety disorders, stress disorders, or depression. And some people don't know that a lot of stress, chronic stress and anxiety can actually cause depression, and it can cause you to feel very low in your life, not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to do the tasks that you normally do, disconnect with friends and family, so you're not socializing any longer. Sorry, let me just have a sip here. So, and depression can be a very tricky thing to diagnose because the symptoms vary from person to person, and the period of time that it lasts, it also differs from person to person. I just want to quickly add here, if you or anyone that you know are experiencing depression in such a way that you feel overwhelmed, that you don't know how to deal with things, that you feel that you no longer have any sense of yourself or your life, you feel so disconnected and alone, please try to get a support group. For suicide and for depression and anxiety, there is a number on some of these websites, and many of them are 24 hours. So please don't feel that you are at that point that nothing else matters, or that there is not any help for you. There is. And to add to that, you might feel like this today, and your situation might feel that it will never change and it's so overwhelming and there's no point to it, but it will also change. Nothing in this world is permanent, not even depression. And people who suffer from anxiety and depression will also tell you that they do experience good days, and some days might be very overwhelming. But please seek help if you are feeling very overwhelmed and not being able to cope on your own. There is help out there. There's someone out there that is willing to listen, or contact a friend or a family member and just tell them how you're feeling, so that you can take the next step to getting help. Okay, so back to dealing with stress and anxiety in your daily life. What you want to do is you want to get to a place where you have balance, and where you feel comfortable enough and at ease enough that you can deal with your situation and with any challenges coming through confidently. So it is very important to think about your mental well-being, your physical well-being, and your spiritual well-being all at the same time. So just generally, stress is usually caused by something that has changed in your life. So when you deal with that, you need to think about what your situation is and what it is about the situation that is causing you the stress. And stress and anxiety normally comes along with feelings of worry and fear, and not being connected, or feeling disconnected or out of control. You're not in control of the situation. So what you want to do is think about what is causing the stress and how you can change it. So for example, if you've started a new job and you feel you don't have the confidence yet, you feel a little out of place, you haven't adjusted with the new people there, you're not sure about the processes and the procedures of doing your job and completing tasks, it's a learning curve. So don't be too hard on yourself. You need to give yourself some time and some credit to actually get there, to get used to the new situation and to adjust to the new situation. So things that you don't want to do is you don't want to procrastinate, so that will only add to your stress. Don't put off tasks that you need to do today. A lot of people do that. They avoid the situation, so they put off the tasks, or mentally they say to themselves, no, I can do it tomorrow. I'm really not in the mood today, I'm not feeling well, so I'm going to put it off until tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and goes, and the same thing happens over and over again. So for example, when you're a student, you put off doing that assignment, and at the end of the day, when you realize it again, tomorrow is the due date, so now you've put in all of the stress onto yourself for one day that you need to actually quickly hurry and do that assignment and get it submitted before it's too late. So don't do that. You want to manage your time well. This is very important. So make a calendar and a to-do list. If you are a student, a worker, or if you are just doing whatever tasks at home, make a list. And then after you've made the list, prioritize. Think about what is the most important thing to do here now. Start with that, finish it, and then continue with it. And keep to your list. You have to stay organized. If everything else is out of control and in chaos around you, if it's unorganized, your mind is also going to feel unorganized, and you're going to feel that you have a lesser sense of control over things. So time management is very important. Don't procrastinate. And then the next point, don't take on more than what you can handle or what you can cope with. A lot of people, they try to help others, and they want to achieve things very quickly in life, which is understandable. All of us have goals, and we have hopes and dreams that we want to reach in our lives. But Rome wasn't built in a day, so you need to be very practical about what you take on in life. For example, if you are a stay-at-home mom, you won't be able to spring clean the whole house in one day. So don't try to do that. You're just adding to your own stress, and you are making things more difficult for yourself. The same goes with work and with studies. Don't take on more than what you are able to do. So if you know for a fact you are a part-time student and you have a job as well, then don't register for the whole 10 modules for the year. Rather do the 5 and then see how it goes. And then after a year, if you think that you can take on more, then do that. But don't put yourself under so much pressure from the start. It's not worth it. You're not going to achieve anything but health problems for yourself. Because stress really adds to health problems. So you don't want that. You want to be able to still be here in the next 10, 20, 30 years, see your grandchildren grow up. So it's not worth putting yourself under that amount of stress just to attain a goal. Okay, then you need to learn to say no. If you are not able to help someone right now or here, then don't tell them that you will, because you are only adding to your own stress. If it's friends and family, they will be able to understand if you are telling them, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now, but say for instance, but next week I will. I just don't have the time today, or I don't have the money to help you, or I don't have the resources to assist you right now. Don't put yourself in a situation where you regret saying yes to someone. If you are not able to willingly and with the intention of fully being open say yes and know that you are able to do so, don't put that stress on you. You are allowed to say no. So know your own barriers and your own limitations. That is very important. With regard to stress and anxiety as a disorder, it's important to know what your stresses are. So stresses are those things that add to your stress. So it will be things such as excuse me. For example, people with autism have physical stresses such as loud noises, bright lights, being in a social environment with many people. It makes them uncomfortable, it makes them stress, and it makes them experience anxiety. So for anyone with an anxiety disorder, you need to be able to identify your stresses. So think about what is it that makes you stressed. Is it things like not having enough time to do something? Is it working under pressure? For example, in a fast-paced environment where you have daily due dates and have tasks that require you to be on high alert the whole time. So everyone's stresses differ, so you need to be able to identify your own stresses. For some people it is things like social situations. Some people get anxious and panicked in situations where they are experiencing conflict or where they are witnessing someone having an argument. So some of those things will be stresses for someone. For some people it would be spaces where there's a lot of people, crowded spaces. Some people don't like being in close proximity of a lot of people. It makes them anxious. And other people might have like claustrophobia. If you're in enclosed spaces like a lift or an elevator, it might make you anxious. So it depends on what you want to, it depends on you as a person. Your stresses might be different than the next person. So it's important to identify those so that you can either avoid such situations or that you can put things in place on how to deal with them. For example, if you are claustrophobic, then you'll know that you shouldn't take lifts or elevators when you're in a building. Rather take the stairs. If you get anxious when you're in a crowded space, then rather choose places that are more open spaced, where you have more room, or which is outdoors, which doesn't make you feel so claustrophobic. If there are instances where you are in a situation where you cannot avoid things like that, for example, when you are at your job and you need to complete a task that is in a situation that makes you anxious. For example, some people do construction work and they need to go into spaces that are very claustrophobic. And then or perhaps you experience it for the first time when you go into a place like that, then it's important to just tell your team members, listen, I'm not feeling good with the situation. I'm feeling very anxious, I'm feeling panicked. Can you help me, or can you rather get someone else to do this, because I'm experiencing an anxiety attack or a panic attack. So that is very important to know what is stressing you. So you need to have a look at that. With regard to self-care, that is very important. In order to deal with stress effectively, you have to take care of yourself. You won't be able to take care of other people or help other people if you don't take care of yourself first. That is very important. Self-love, self-care, that is the one thing that's supposed to be first on your list. So what is self-care? You are going to take care of yourself, spend time with yourself, do things that are important to you, make goals for yourself, have hopes and dreams, but be realistic about it in trying to obtain those goals and those dreams. So if you think about it, take a few minutes every day that you spend time just with yourself, okay? So it can be time just to reflect on the day or the week that has passed. Do something nice for yourself, like just take 10 minutes or 15 minutes to relax with some music. If you like music, it's always soothing. There is a lot of instances where people have turned to music as part of therapy as well. So you can also look into that as a form of coping with stress and anxiety. There are binaural beats and well, it's like sound therapy. Many of those tracks are on YouTube. You can go and have a look and explore some of them, and then listen to a few of them, see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then you can use 10 or 15 minutes in your day, just you yourself in a meditative state, just listening to the music, just relaxing. It's like a mental process of getting yourself ready for the day ahead. So it's important to have that self-care and a routine for yourself. Don't neglect yourself, the time that you spend with yourself, because you need to check in with yourself so that you know that you're okay on a regular basis. If you leave it and you don't do that, then things happen like having an anxiety attack or having a panic attack, and you don't know why. Because you haven't realized what the red lights that have gone on, the warning signs that have been given to you in this period that are telling you are stressed, or you are dealing with anxiety, or you are depressed. If you are not noticing these warning signs, then you end up in a space where you feel overwhelmed and not being able to cope. So it's important to stop, take a breather, and spend time with yourself so that you can notice when there's something off, or something that doesn't feel right, or your emotional state that is not what it's supposed to be. So that is very, very important, to practice the self-care. With regard to self-care, it also includes taking time to practice a hobby or doing things that you like doing. If you like watching movies, take a day every week, go watch a movie at the theaters, or just lay in bed, relax, watch a movie. If you like arts and crafts, that is something that can be very therapeutic and a way to express your anxiety, your stress, your emotional state. So hobbies like these, and exercising, for example, if you like gym, then you can go to the gym. If you're not very much a person that likes physical exercise, then choose something that does not have a lot of strenuous activity, such as taking a walk, just walking around the block, or taking a walk to the shop instead of taking the car. It's important to get the physical exercises in, because it helps your body as well, and it helps release the hormones that are necessary to give you a state of well-being, hormones that regulates your emotions, and that's like serotonin and dopamine. So it's necessary to have those hormones to regulate your moods. So if you exercise on a regular basis, those hormones get released and they are balanced, and it helps to your overall well-being. Don't disconnect when you are experiencing stress. Many people avoid the situation, and they avoid social interaction. They feel that they want to hide from the world, and it's perfectly fine when you feel that way. It's a normal symptom of depression and anxiety, wanting to not have anything to do with anyone or anything, and wanting to just crawl up in bed and stay there and not face the world. But it's not going to change your situation. It actually just contributes to procrastinating on tasks and on facing whatever it is that is happening in your life at the moment. So don't disconnect. If you feel that no one will understand what you are going through, like friends or family, or you don't feel comfortable telling them or discussing this with them, then try to find a support group. If it's online even, that will also help. So try to get connected somehow with someone who might be able to help you or who are also experiencing the same thing. There are many people experiencing stress, anxiety and depression, so you are not alone. And it helps to share experiences with others if you are in the same boat, because it helps you learn from these experiences and realize that you are not the only person that goes through this, and you can give support to one another when you form a group or just chat with someone. Don't cut yourself off from the world, because it will not be beneficial to you, and it doesn't end great when you just go deeper and deeper into that black hole and eventually don't know how to get out of it. So it's important to stay, to consider if you need to speak to someone other than a family or friend. Okay, so finding support, that is important to deal with your stress and anxiety. If you are dealing with stress at work or at home, for example, if it's brought on by tasks and not being able to get to your deadlines and do the tasks that you are supposed to do, then communicate this. If you are having stress at work because of your workload and you're not getting to everything that you're supposed to do, then communicate it to your supervisor or to your manager and find a way to resolve it before it becomes one hell of a heap on your table and you feel as if you just want to sit back and die because of all the paperwork that's standing in front of you. So do something about it before it becomes too big of a problem. Okay, so keep a diary. That just links with having a plan of action, having a calendar and keeping to your schedule. Okay, so keeping a diary will help you to keep to your schedule, and not only this, you can add diary entrance into your diary every day, expressing your emotional state, what you are feeling, what you are experiencing, just to work through those emotions. So on a later stage you can go back to those and see if anything has changed. The big thing about stresses in life is not your situation can't always change. Okay, so it's important to know, to remember that stress is a result of a stimulus that comes from your environment, but some situations can't change. Maybe not now, maybe only after 6 months. So if you're stuck in a situation for 6 months or for a year or 5 or 6, then you need to adapt to that situation. Your situation might not change, but your perspective and how you deal with it, how you see it, that is the thing that needs to be changed, so that you can effectively manage stress and anxiety. So if you see something as very threatening and very stressful, then you're probably going to experience high amounts of stress. So if you see that, okay, it's just another task that I need to get done today, I can do this, then you see that there's a difference in your mindset already. The stress that you're going to experience in that situation is going to be far more less than what it would be when you think of it already as, oh, this is so stressful, I can't handle it. So your attitude and your perspective on something is very important. And those of you who are familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy, you will know that it aims to change your behavior. It aims to change your thought process and your thought patterns, so that you are able to better deal with stress and anxiety. So think about things in your life. Are you seeing it in a way that is adding to your stress, or are you able to see that it's just another task, another day? Are you able to break it down into smaller tasks or smaller goals that gives you less stress and anxiety? That's the difference between experiencing a lot of stress or being able to cope with whatever challenges is coming your way. It's really a matter of your perspective and about your mindset. Those people who deal with anxiety and depression, some people, the anxiety and depression is brought on by physical issues in your body or in your mind. For example, if you have a chemical imbalance that it messes around with your hormones and then also fluctuates your moods to the extent that you are very depressed or might experience a lot of anxiety. If you are one of those people who have chronic stress and anxiety, then it's best to see someone. Go to a professional, get assistance. It's always best to try to get a diagnosis through a professional person. Don't try to diagnose yourself online. Yes, sometimes you might be right, sometimes you won't. There's a lot of different aspects that come into play when you diagnose someone with anxiety or depression or any other mental disorder. So going online and Googling things is not going to help you. If you are chronically depressed or experience chronic anxiety, then the best is to see a professional that can get you diagnosed, and especially if it's a question of your chemicals in your brain being imbalanced causing this, then it will be necessary to see someone so that you can get therapy in conjunction with the medication that is necessary to restore the balance. So as I said, it depends from person to person. So if you have been experiencing depression or anxiety in the long term, then it's best to see someone professional to get diagnosed, okay? So don't leave it. If you are not on medical, go to your local hospital or your clinic. They will give you a referral letter to go to the hospital in your area and then see someone to get a diagnosis. This is probably the only time, like for example, disorders like that, where I would recommend someone to get the medical treatment, which includes drugs or the medicine and medication to actually help them with that. There are some disorders that are just not manageable without medication, such as schizophrenia and like some of the anxiety and depression and bipolar disorders. So the rest of the time, guys, I would encourage someone to rather take a holistic view and approach to their own treatment, which will include your physical well-being, your mental well-being, and your mindset, your cognitive processes. I wouldn't recommend anyone to take any medications for depression or anxiety if it's not something chronic or something that has to do with your chemical balance. I think if you get the right help, the right therapy, then you will be able to cope with it effectively with strategies of managing stress and anxiety. It's more of the thought process, your own perspective on things that needs changing. And I'm not a big fan of the medications for anxiety and depression because of all of the side effects that it causes. and because of people getting dependent on it. So it's very hard to, in the beginning, find one that actually is suitable for you and that is that will effectively help you. So that process of finding the correct one is a difficult one. Good morning, South Africa. And Kaogelo, thank you for joining. Please like the live, guys, and share it. I am just touching here on some of the things for dealing with anxiety and stress. So, okay, the other thing was the exercising, and it links with your health and with diet. So, if you are experiencing anxiety or depression and stress, then it's probably not a good idea to overindulge with alcohol, because it is a depressant on its own. So it can worsen symptoms of depression and anxiety. So if you are feeling that you're not 100%, then please don't use alcohol, because it will worsen the condition. Some people think that it will help them cope with it, because it mainly helps you excuse me, it mainly helps you forget about your problems for a while, if you think about that. But the next day, then you wake up with a hangover, and your body is not feeling well, your mind is not feeling well, and it just adds to your feeling of being depressed and being panicked, or having feelings of anxiety. So it's not a good idea to overindulge with alcohol if you are dealing with stress and anxiety. The topic is about dealing with stress and anxiety. Welcome. Okay, so yes, so the coping strategies that we have touched on there is finding balance. So first of all, manage your time correctly. Find time for self-care. So look after yourself, and find a place and space that you can relax in, that you can just touch base with yourself and how you are doing, to make sure that you are not missing any of the warning triggers of being anxious or depressed. So that, and using strategies such as the sound therapy, music, to relax, meditate, just be by yourself. Some of you that are familiar with yoga is a very relaxing exercise. It's actually like a lifestyle, actually incorporated in most of the Eastern, what do you call it? Well, okay, it comes from the Eastern world, and they are also very much focused on meditation and your holistic experience. So yoga is a good way to relax, and I think it's a lot of ladies that would prefer that. There's not a lot of men that like doing yoga, but yeah, it's something that you can explore maybe. Doing arts and crafts, and then okay, the next thing that I just wanted to mention just before I am going to end this live, because my battery is also going to be flat in a minute or so. There is a difference between panic and anxiety attacks. Anxiety attacks come along after a long period of time that you have struggled with stress and anxiety. So it's a build-up of anxiety and the feeling of fear and worry, and it usually occurs during a period where you have experienced a change in your life. So if it's like a state of mind where you're experiencing stress because of starting a new job, or where you have lost someone that's a loved one, then you know that that is what is causing your stress and your anxiety. Now, the build-up of that anxiety and stress can cause an anxiety attack. Anxiety attacks are a lot like panic attacks. It manifests physically, giving you a feeling of not being able to breathe. You might be sweaty and your heart is palpitating, and you feel like you can't breathe, like there's pressure in your throat, and you feel a loss of control of things around you, and not being able to deal with the situation. Rapid breathing goes along with it, so it's very much the same. There is similarities between anxiety attacks and panic attacks. Panic attacks, on the other hand, happens unexpectedly and without reason. So you might be in a very happy state of mood and then go shopping with your friends and all of a sudden experience a panic attack and you don't know why. So that is the difference between panic attacks and anxiety attacks. Now, what you want to do in a situation when you are dealing with stress or anxiety that is making you feel so anxious or close to the point of having an anxiety attack. So what you need to do is ground yourself. Grounding is the process of thinking about your physical experience instead of your mental experience. So what happens is you are experiencing all of these emotions that are going through your body. You are feeling stressed and anxious, worried, out of control, and this manifests in your body as having heart palpitations. You are sweating and your throat feels as if there's something stuck in it. You can't breathe. So that is what's happening when you are experiencing an anxiety attack. So instead of thinking about what and why it is happening mentally, or the emotions that you are feeling, the thing that you want to do immediately is just try to focus on your breath. Take a deep breath in and out. The in breath through your mouth and the out breath through your nose. And for those of you that might encounter someone experiencing a panic attack or an anxiety attack, you might be able to help them by remembering this. So let them focus on their breath firstly so that it can calm down, bring them back into a calm state of being. Try to get the person to focus on something else except for on their own thoughts. So you want to make them aware. It's about mindfulness and awareness of their actual physical body. So if they are sitting on the floor, let them touch the floor with their hands, feel the floor. For example, ask them, is the floor cold or hot? Ask them questions that they need to respond on. Is your body cold or hot? Let them be aware of the physical surrounding. Ask them, is the wall green? What color is the wall? And ask them to make eye contact with you so that they focus on something other than what is happening inside of their minds. So that is grounding, some of the grounding exercises that you can do if you are experiencing anxiety and panic. So you want to get out of your state of mind, so you distance yourself from your emotions for the time being so that you can get better perspective on what is happening. In that moment, when you take yourself out of your mind, out of your headspace, you will realize that physically there is nothing that has happened to you. You are safe, you are okay, you haven't been hurt in any way. So that already makes the mind calm down. Okay, so grounding and bringing you back to the situation here and now, that is very important. Not thinking about what you are stressing about or what has caused the stress, because that can just speed on or worsen the panic or the anxiety attack. So yes, so the breathing and the grounding is very important. And then after the person has calmed from the panic attack or the anxiety attack, then it is important so that you get some rest in. Follow up with your doctor or your medical practitioner if you are experiencing symptoms that last longer than a week, because when you experience anxiety attacks, it lasts longer than what a panic attack would. A panic attack can range between 5 to 20 minutes and then it will be over. But when you have had an anxiety attack, it takes time to gradually come down from that, and it usually happens because of the build-up of the stress and the anxiety over the period of time. So it's things that you have to work through. Okay, but guys, my battery is flat now, so I just wanted to say thank you very much, guys, for joining, and thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. I will do another topic on mental health and well-being, maybe a little more specific, so I will post this video as well. You can maybe just let me know if there's any specific topics that you want me to talk about. So, but that's it. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope you guys enjoy your day. You can inbox me if there's any questions that you have specifically regarding anxiety and stress or what we have discussed today. So thank you and have a great Monday. Bye.